Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're cracking open a report from CURIS Inc. And let me tell you, it's a bit like finding out your friend is selling their prized comic book collection to make rent. We're diving into some financial moves that might raise an eyebrow or two. If you like seeing corporate filings demystified, make sure to subscribe and come join the other decoders in our Discord. There is a link in the description. So the big news is that CURIS Inc. made a deal called a securities purchase agreement. Basically, they're selling shares of stock to some big investors. It's like when a company needs a quick cash infusion, they go knocking on the doors of institutions, hoping someone will bite. They're doing this through two ways, a registered direct offering and a private placement. The registered direct offering involves selling 1,538,460 shares. Think of it like putting shares directly on the market. Here they are, who wants them? The other part, the private placement, is a bit more exclusive. They're offering unregistered pre-funded warrants instead of shares to certain investors. Warrants give these investors the right to buy shares later at a set price, and they're also offering more warrants to buy even more shares. Basically, those warrants give the investor an option or a right to buy the stock in the future if they choose at a specific price. It gets them excited because if the stock goes up, they can cash out, but if the stock goes down, they can just ignore the warrants. It's a win-win for them. The price tag? About $2.27 for each share and its associated warrant. For the pre-funded warrant deal, it's a little cheaper at $2.26. All this is expected to bring in around $7 million quick. They expect this to all wrap up around July 3 of that year, assuming all goes well. So basically, they made a deal to sell stock to investors to get money. They feel the money fills the need, and they expect to be able to finalize the deal real soon. No guarantees it will happen though. To make all of this happen, they've hired Laidlaw & Company and Jones Trading Institutional Services to act as co-placement agents. Think of them as the realtors of the stock world, helping CURIS find buyers. They're getting paid about $0 million for their trouble, plus some reimbursement for expenses. So around 7% of the total raised. Now, this purchase agreement comes with all the usual promises, guarantees, and potential outs for both sides. It's like the fine print you never read, but lawyers love. If you want to see the full document, it's available to view, but it repeats a lot of what we have already said here. These unregistered warrants have some interesting strings attached. The pre-funded warrants can be used immediately, but the regular warrants last for 5 years. It's like getting a coupon that expires in 5 years, hoping you'll use it before it's too late. There's a limit on how much of the company these warrant holders can own. They can't go over 4.99% or 9.99% of the company's stock, depending on what they chose when they got the warrant. This is a common move to stop anyone from taking over too much control. If something big happens, like the company gets bought out, these warrant holders get to cash in and receive what they would have gotten if they'd used their warrants right before the deal. Basically, they get to ride along in the stock's value. In some cases, if there's a big change that the company's board didn't approve, the warrant holders can force the company to buy back their warrants at fair value. If the deal involves stock in another company, they get that same type of stock. This protects the warrant holders if the company does something they don't like. CURIS also signed a registration rights agreement. This means they promise to register these warrant shares for resale, so the buyers can sell them later. It's like getting the title to a car so you can sell it to someone else. CURIS needs to file this registration pretty quickly, within 60 days of closing the private placement. They also have to keep it active until all the shares are sold or can be sold freely. If they don't, they have to pay penalties to the buyers. Basically, file this paper promptly. If you don't, there will be consequences. All of this activity we have mentioned, the private placement is not your standard stock offering, but an exempt offering, meaning it's sold privately following special rules, so it does not need to be publicly announced. It's only pitched to accredited investors. This means high net worth individuals or institutions and not the general public. They put together a slideshow that they will use when talking with third parties, also known as an investor presentation. It's like their sales pitch highlighting why you should invest in CURIS. On the same day this filing came out, CURIS put out a press release announcing the pricing of these offerings. It's like a town crier shouting the news, but in a more formal way. Based on what they're planning, CURIS thinks this cash infusion will keep them going until the first quarter of 2026. They're basically saying we have enough money to last us until then, hopefully. CURIS is also pulling the plug on a previous agreement with Cantor Fitzgerald and Jones Trading to sell shares at the market. They're stopping this now to accommodate the current big deal going on. Now for the serious stuff. This report has forward-looking statements, meaning it predicts stuff, but it includes a warning that things might not go to plan. It's like saying, we hope this happens, but who knows? There are risks, market conditions could change, and the deal might not even close. Finally, there are a few exhibits, including the forms for the warrants, legal opinions, and the agreements we talked about. It's like the appendix to a book where you find all the extra details. Okay, so what's the story here? CURIS is clearly in need of cash. They're selling stock and warrants to raise about $7 million. They need this money to keep operating into 2026. It's a short-term fix to buy them some time. Cancelling the at-the-market sales agreement makes sense because it avoids flooding the market with shares and lowering the value further. The investor presentation and press release are all about putting a positive spin on the news. They want to show that the company is moving forward, that there is still hope for the future, and that these recent short-term measures are just part of the plan. Looking at the numbers, the reliance on these offerings to extend their cash runway is a yellow flag. If they knew they had plenty of cash to survive for years, they would not have needed to do any of this. It suggests they're burning through cash faster than expected. The risk is, how far can the cash go until they do another offering, leading to shares being diluted further? So is CURIS heading in the right direction? It's hard to say. They're clearly facing some financial challenges, and these moves are designed to buy them more time. However, a string of back-to-back offerings is not a recipe for success. It's critical to watch how they use this money and whether they can turn things around before they need to raise even more cash. Alright, that's our deep dive into CURIS's recent 8K filing. What do you think of these moves? Is this a smart strategy, or is it a sign of deeper problems? Let me know in the comments. If this breakdown was helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more corporate decoder videos. Also, don't forget to join the Discord community. The link is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.